Hi, second graders. It's Miss Parker here. Last week, I remember that we read some stories and some different people's experiences at schools around the world. And thinking back to that story and going back and looking at the essential question before we read about those things, it asked, how are some schools different from each other? And given our experiences this last week, I want you to be thinking about how our school through technology right now is different than the all-American school that you have been used to, which is similar to what's in the all-American picture right here. You can see where the children are all standing up to say the Pledge of Allegiance as we did earlier this year. Just think about how things are different now and how things change from one time to another. I was about to go to lesson number 14, and I'm thinking, oh, well, lesson 13 is really relevant at this time in our lives. So remember, whenever you are reading, you also need to think about how the text is connected to our world, and that's one example how what we've read about how schools are different in different places is also connected to how we're living right now. And of course, it also is affecting you because you're connected to a different type of school now than you used to be. Now, Helen Keller, she also learned in a completely different way than what we did. So text to text is also, seeing the way that the students learned on these other pages, how they all learned in different ways. Helen Keller also learned in different ways through her teacher. And the texts are different. So our grammar skill this week is something that we'll talk about tomorrow. But if you would like to go ahead and preview that today, you can. And you will be seeing quotation marks as you read, and as well consider where the commas are in the sentences. So looking at number 1, you read about knowledge and how knowledge is information, and it can come from books and many other places. Number 2, you learned what curious was, how you can search the internet if you are curious or want to learn about sea animals. And number 3, a hand held up is a motion to stop. He's asking you to stop with his motion or his hand motion. Number 4, silence. The rule in the library is silence. Please don't speak. That is also something that our Father taught us in church, remember? Number 5, this child has an illness, but she won't be sick for long. Imitated. This girl imitated or copied her teacher to learn sign language. Number 7, darkness. Flashlights help people see better in darkness. Number 8, behavior. Taking a telephone message is good behavior. It is a polite way to act. So our read and comprehend target skill is author's purpose. And we did talk a little bit about that as well yesterday. In fact, I'd like for each one of you to try to take a picture of why you think the author wrote about Helen Keller's life, or the videographer videoed the biography about Helen Keller. Try to take a picture of the sentence that you wrote yesterday and email it to me. I'd love to get 6 emails from all of my second graders today. Author's purpose. Authors write for many reasons. The reason an author writes sometimes is called the author's purpose. You can look for text evidence as you read to help you figure out if the author wrote to make you smile, to tell you facts, or to explain ideas. You can list the text evidence on a chart like this one. Text evidence, text evidence, text evidence. But the author's purpose. So the author may want to teach you how to make a cake, and one bit of text evidence might be that he went shopping for ingredients so that he could get the right ingredients to make a cake. And the next thing that he may have written about to share that he was wanting to bake a cake was that he bought a cookbook, a cookbook, which is another piece of evidence that he's wanting to tell you how to bake a cake, or to at least bake a cake. And then finally, the author may have a list of items for you to follow. Like first, you add the flour, second, you add the eggs, and so on. So those things, those smaller details, are the evidence that support what the author was wanting to do. So today, I want you to read this story with a family member. And tomorrow, I'm planning on sending a video of me reading it, and then you can follow along with me as I read it again. Please be on the lookout for quotation marks and notice where the commas go before the quotation. Some of you may have already read the story, and if you have done so, remember that you can always study your vocabulary words. And as well, I'll be sending you a list of your spelling words so that you can study and your family can give you a spelling test, quote unquote, on Friday. I'm adding your spelling words to this video. It's page 203 in your packet, and there's the list of the basic words over on the right and the review words. And the words are own, O-W-N, own, most, M-O-S-T, most, soap, S-O-A-P, soap, float, F-L-O-A-T, float, both, B-O-T-H, both, know, K-N-O-W, know, loan, L-O-A-N, loan, goat, G-O-A-T, goat, flow, F-L-O-W, flow, loaf, L-O-A-F, loaf, throw, T-H-R-O-W, throw, coach, C-O-A-C-H, coach. Coach Mackenzie would be very happy that he's one of your spelling words. So, S-O, so, and grow, G-R-O-W, grow. So the long O is one of our focuses, and you can go ahead and work on this spelling sort. It's on page 203 in your packets. And of course, if you want to do page 202 as well, that would be awesome. You guys rock. Keep working on your packets. By Friday, I'll have those answers to you for the pages for the packet that you're working on. If you have any questions, remember that you can email me. And as you read Helen Keller today, also pay attention to the essential question: how can you communicate in different ways? Your story begins on page 472.